All right, today we're putting sovereignty on trial. We're going to try and unpack a really complex legal puzzle, one that has leaders and lawyers all over the world asking this one huge question. It's a question that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a political thriller, right? But with everything going on in the world, it's become a very real possibility. I mean, think about it. Can a sitting head of state, the actual symbol of a nation, really be arrested? Well, if you're looking for a simple yes or no, you're not going to find it here. The real answer is, well, it's a tangled mess, really. It's a mix of legal tradition, hard political reality, and centuries of history. To even begin to understand it, we've got to start with the oldest rule in the book. So our first stop on this journey is this incredibly powerful idea, a concept that has literally protected kings, queens, and presidents for centuries. It's often called the immunity shield. And this shield, it's all built on the idea of sovereign immunity. What does that mean? Well, at its core, it just means that one country's courts can't drag the leader of another country into their courtroom. It's kind of like a global you stay out of my business and I'll stay out of yours agreement. So why even have this rule? Is it just about protecting powerful people? Not really. It's actually about protecting the stability of the entire international system. Just imagine if we didn't have it. Diplomacy would grind to a halt, right? Countries could just use politically motivated lawsuits to harass each other constantly. So it's really a practical rule designed to just let governments, well, govern. But, and this is a big but, in our modern world, that shield has definitely started to crack. A really powerful exception has come along, one that basically says some crimes are just so horrific that no shield, no matter how strong, can protect you. And where do we find this exception? Well, you have to look in a completely different kind of legal arena, the world of international courts. Okay, and this right here, this is the crucial distinction you need to get. In a country's own domestic courts, a leader's immunity is like a fortress wall. It's almost impossible to get past. But international courts, they were specifically designed to get over that wall, especially when we're talking about crimes that just shock the conscience of all of humanity. The main player in this whole new arena is the International Criminal Court, or the ICC. And when the ICC was created, it fundamentally changed the rules of the game. It threw a direct challenge to the old idea that any leader could have absolute, untouchable immunity. Now, the key thing to understand about the ICC is that it prosecutes individuals, not countries, but people. And its mission is crystal clear. It doesn't matter if you're a common soldier or the commander-in-chief. Your official job title is no defense when you're facing charges of genocide, war crimes, or crimes against humanity. And look, this isn't just some abstract legal theory. We've actually seen it happen. Think about leaders like former Liberian President Charles Taylor or Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic. They were brought before international tribunals. These cases sent a huge signal to the world, a major shift in global thinking. Suddenly, for the absolute worst crimes, the demand for justice could actually be stronger than a leader's claim to immunity. Okay, so the law says it's possible. Great. But that brings us to the biggest hurdle of all, and that's the massive gap between what the law says on paper and what can actually be enforced in the messy real world. And here's the fundamental problem, right? The International Criminal Court can issue an arrest warrant. That's a powerful piece of paper. But what it doesn't have is its own global police force. There's no SWAT team of ICC officers that can just be sent out to make an arrest. So, the whole enforcement process, it's like a chain. And as we all know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Once the ICC issues a warrant, it becomes totally reliant on its member states to do the hard work. An arrest can only happen if the country that leader is in agrees to cooperate and use its own police to enforce that warrant. So why does this chain break so often? Well, it usually comes down to two big reasons. First, you've got major world powers, like the United States, Russia, and China, that aren't even members of the ICC, so they don't recognize its authority in the first place. And second, even a country that is a member might just refuse to cooperate. They might decide that the political drama and fallout from arresting a foreign leader is just not worth it. Okay, so let's recap. We have the ancient shield of immunity, we have the modern sword of international justice, and then we have the very real, very practical problem of enforcement. Let's bring all these pieces together and finally get to our answer. So, back to our original question. Can a sitting head of state be arrested? The answer really boils down to this one crucial distinction. Is it legally possible? Absolutely, yes. Is it politically guaranteed? Not a chance. The entire issue just hangs in this delicate balance between what the law allows and what politics will actually permit. Here's a good way to think about it. It's like a three-legged stool. For an arrest to actually happen, all three legs have to be solid. First, the court needs to have clear jurisdiction. That's leg one. Second, a country has to have a legal treaty obligation to cooperate. That's leg two. But the third and honestly most crucial leg is just pure political will. And if that leg is wobbly, the whole stool collapses. And so this all leaves us with one of the biggest defining questions of our time, doesn't it? How do we as a global community balance the idea of national sovereignty with this powerful human demand for justice? There's no easy answer here, but how we continue to navigate this tension, well, that's going to define the future of international law for all of us.